everyone, how are you? Hope you are doing well in this COVID-19. So we came information that we have to write the examination at any cost. I hope you are preparing well for these examinations. So welcome back again for a new subject, that is grid and cloud computing. So in the first one we learn about the introduction of this grid and a cloud, a little bit introduction of grid, architecture, elements, okay. But in this unit we are going to learn more about the grid architecture, the services it is going to provide, what are the requirements for this, what are the basic motivation for this, okay. So let us start our second unit, grid and cloud computing. So in the first we learn about the introduction. Our unit is the grid services. See, in this grid services we are about to learn about OGSA, that is Open Grid Services Architecture. So in that we have motivation, why we require this OGSA, what are the basic requirements in terms of functionalities of this OGSA for the grid construction, and what is the practical and the detailed view of this OGSA or OGSA. So we will in a few minutes we will learn about what is OGSA and OGSA now. Next, what are the data intensive grid service models? We have 5 models. So what are the models we have? We are going to learn in this. Next, OGSA services finally. Okay, it's the smallest unit, I can say, very easiest unit. Little bit of architectures we have. If you are able to refer those architectures in a very as a glance, it's you surely get the marks. Okay, so before moving the detailed nature of grid computing, I want to revise one more time what is a grid and what is a cloud computing. Okay, as all of you know, that is computing is nothing but the processing. That processing may be in single system or a distributed system or satellite system or client server system, whatever it is. The main theme is just a computing. Okay, so in the previous days we have only satellite system along with the client server system little bit. Okay, but now because of the evolution of the internet technology, we can able to combine lot many resources at one place to share our data, to process our data, to distribute our data, so that we can store more amount of data. Okay, we can process the more amount of data also. Right now, so in order to do this distribution, first of all we have to connect these computers, or we can say resources, at one place. Okay, so here we get the word called as a grid. So basically what is a grid? So grid is the use of widely distributed computing resources to reach a common goal. Okay, now coming to the grid, we came to know about the grid, and coming to the cloud computing. After connecting lot many devices at one place for one specific goal, now we are able to connect this type of grids as a lot many computing processes called as a cloud computing. See, if you observe, cloud computing is a practice of using a network of remote servers hosted on the internet to store whatever the transactions you want to perform in your storage, for your storage. Okay, so it can be done with the help of a computing only. Okay, so this is used to store, manage, process data. So which is not able to store at local servers, means our devices not cope up with the amount of memory requirement, with the amount of processing capability, and with the storage needed. Okay, so in order to avoid these services, we should go beyond our systems. So in order to get these services in a very short period without any breakage in our service, we need to connect these computers as a grid. The collection of grids called as a cloud computing. Right now. So I want to show a resemblance of a grid with the power grid actually, because even today also, if you observe in a street, we used to get some poles Okay, later all these poles are connected to one power pole. Okay, all these power poles are connected to one power station, right? See, if you observe this, see here, these are all the transmission lines I can say. These are power plant. If you want to get the power, these power plant will supply all this power to the power plants, or you can say transmission lines. Later, with the help of the power substation, we can provide the electricity to the houses. Okay, ma? So this formation of this transmission lines connection. So if you want to distribute your power to this house, automatically we need a number of elements in the midway of this transmission. Here we have power poles, here we have transmission lines, here we have power station, and there is a need of transformer in order to fluctuate from one form of voltage to another form of voltage, right? Okay, so these are all connections we need. So like this also, the grid, nothing but a collection of different resources to store your application data. Of course, it is not only for one user, but it can be scalable to more than one user. Okay, it is up to the usage of the user requirements along with the provision of the resources in this grid. Right now, so in a short period, I want to conclude how the grid computing is going to be differ from the cloud computing. Whether it is better or it is going to be improving or it is subset. We have to conclude that first. Okay, so if you observe here, so for grid computing and the cloud computing, I given a table file which is collected from the browser. Right, the user management is decentralized management. Why? Because is the collection of grids is nothing but the cloud computing. Automatically, one grid is not able to extend to it anywhere. Okay, but all these grids are at one control called as a centralized management. The dependency is one system maybe depends upon the other system in order to share your data, but here not. If you want to access your storage, if you want, for example, take a Google Drive, I think all of you are aware of this Google Drive. What is Google Drive, ma? In which we can store our textbook, videos, audio, whatever not. Okay, it is a provision. Throughout the clock, 24/7, you are able to access your Google Drive with your Gmail account. Right or wrong? So how the service you are going to get throughout the clock? Only because of the internet. If the internet is not there, automatically you are not able to collect this your data. Right? Okay, in order to, for example, our cloud server is at the USA. Okay, so in the midway of USA, between this India and the USA, a number of states and countries are connected. Those states and countries can be called as grids. Okay, now how going to be the operation? Operate within a corporate net, right? Why? Because it is not going to organize or control by a single organization, but is a collection of corporate networks, the private networks. Okay, so all these one is going to be working under the roof of internet only. Accessibility only through grid middleware only. Up to that part only we can able to access, but with the internet protocols or web protocols we can access any service at any time. Next, what is the domains? We need multiple domains because the connectivity is going to be distributed in number of computers at different places, but all these comes under one roof. That is called as a single domain. This domain is a provider. Who is a provider? For example, Amazon Web Services, okay, Azure, Microsoft. So these are all the providers. Who is going to provide services to you to store your data, to process your data, okay, to access your data. It is not in your laptop or computer, but it is in their processors. Right now, so they can able to provide the services to you. The scalability, of course, it is actually to only few computers or hundreds of computers, but throughout the world it is able to connect. It can extend to up to anything. The scalability is very high. Coming to architecture, the distributed computer architecture means The data is going to be shared. Data is going to be shared in a friendly manner. Okay, but all this sharing is going to be accessed with the help of the client-server architecture. So all of you are aware of this client-server architecture, I think. But the client-server architecture, whenever there is a request to a service in terms of a client, automatically the provider for the request, nothing but the server, will respond to the request and provide some services to the user based upon the requirement of the client. Right. Here also the cloud computing is going to provide the services to the customer in terms of the client-server architecture only. There is no deviation from it. Why? Because why means it is you who is going to be store your data somewhere else. So that somewhere else person will become as a server to you, because if he is going to be permit to you to access your data, then only you can get. Right or wrong? So based upon the availability of the services by the server, we can get the service. Virtualization. What is the virtualization? Whenever we have only limited resources, but we are able to do a lot many processing, how it is going to be do? Management of the resources in a perfect manner called as a virtualization. Okay, that virtualization is going to be limited to only data and the computing in grid computing, but it is extended to hardware and the software also. See, for example, in this we have 100 hardware systems or computers. In the virtualization, the maintenance is going to be done very regularly. Okay, whenever 10 systems are not busy at all, they are free, the system is going to find out those computers or hardwares. It is going to provide some work to the computers. Please don't be idle here, you have to do something. That management is called as a virtualization in terms of a sharing or processing effectively. Next, computation. So maximum computing is going to be done at the grid level only for limited data storage along with the processing capability, but it depends upon you. If you are ready to pay big amount, the providers also can able to provide a lot amount of storage for you to store your data. Okay, it is not at all limited. Right. Application type is a batch. The collection of data is going to be done. It is going to be very interactive. Interactive means user-friendly nature. Along with the user can provide the data, can get the data at any time. Automatically they used to interact with each other. Right now, so this is the main difference between the grid computing and the cloud computing. So what I want to conclude with this chart is the grid computing is nothing but a subset of cloud computing undoubtedly. Without the grid, there is no cloud. There is no cloud, automatically there is no grid. Vice versa. Right? No. Coming to the introduction. Okay. So in this introduction, we are going to know about who giving services in terms of a grid. Initially, who is initiated that, how they are initiated, the basic architecture they given. Okay, so these are all blah 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 information is going to provide in this introduction part. Okay? First one. So if you have to remember all these abbreviations from here now. Okay, so the first abbreviation is Open Grid Services Infrastructure. Basically, what is the infrastructure we used to know? For example, if you want to construct a college for your sake to get a certificate, so what will you get? Automatically, the infrastructure is going to be maintain the high-level hierarchy, the administrator or a correspondent, the principal. Okay, next HODs later, blah blah blah. In terms of academics, it is. In terms of academics. So this infrastructure is going to be vary for the admissions. This infrastructure will vary for the syllabus, for the non-teaching, the construction, right or wrong? So everything is nothing but in terms of infrastructure, means according to a cloud computing, the infrastructure will come for software, the applications you are supporting, hardware, okay, combo packages or commodity hardware. What a hardware you are going to be used, okay, and we can range of applications they can support, types of applications, right or wrong? So these are all comes under a single word called as OGSI or Open Grid Services Infrastructure. Who proposed this initially is given by Global Grid Forum. It is the one who proposed who proposed the Global Grid Forum. How these grids can be connected, what is basic need in terms of infrastructure, for connectivity, for sharing, for maintenance, okay, for providing service, for accessing, etc., whatever not. So everything is going to be given by Global Grid Forum. So initially they given the name called as Open Grid Services Infrastructure for the service. Now later they changed the name before this. So the OGSA, what is the need of this OGSA for us? See here, the OGSA will help us for creating, managing, exchanging information between them. Between whom? It nothing but the grids. So one grid can able to exchange or access or store data between the beside what is neighbors or grids with the help of some mechanisms. So those mechanisms are we are able to study. Okay, right. Now the second standard. After a few years, they realized that we need to modify or we need to revise our services, that is given as previously OGSI. Okay, so after some modifications, some introducing new things, some removal of previous things, we got a new name called as Open Grid Services Architecture. The architecture contains nothing but infrastructure only, but with a little bit higher version, means higher speedy architecture, resources availability, storage, virtualization, whatever not. Okay, so this is available in OGSA. Now, what is the work of this OGSA initially? See, OGSA is nothing but the technology driving it and programs addressed by the grid set specification proposed by Global Grid Forum. So the OGSA is also proposed by Global Grid Forum only. Whatever the problem is we are facing because of the OGSA introduction or any imperfect architecture, that is going to solve by OGSA. Right. Motivation. See, necessity is a mother of invention. Okay. For this also, why we need this Global Grid Forum? Why we need this OGSA? Why we need this OGSA? Okay. So, any guesses? Okay. So, I will continue. Because see, if you want to connect a number of computers at one place in a distributed manner, means they can be a van, take a van or man we can say, which are going to be scaled or staggered in terms of 50 kilometers. So in the 50 kilometers of range, is it possible to connect the same type of computers with the same configuration, with the same network capability at one place? No, not at all. It is not possible, because the different organizations will use a different methodologies, network capabilities, the specifications, configurations based upon their requirement. Okay, but if you want to make a cloud computing, obviously we need to connect all these different resources at one place. Okay, automatically the technology will vary, the type of methodology is going to vary, the type of input you are going to provide will vary, and automatically the output is going to be varied. In order to cope up these all variations, we need the grid and architecture. So with this architecture, if there is any deviation from technology from one place to another, automatically the conversion will be taken automatically without any intervention of the user, so that in a single way we can get the service short period of time. Right. So the motivation is nothing but the facts to consider in grid architecture. So how the problems we are going to solve in the grid architecture. Numerous components integrated into grid. A number of computers are integrated into grid. Next, components are owned and managed by different organizations and individuals. We know about this. Components may be faulty. Of course, if the one system is faulty, then what about the remaining? Okay. Next, different security requirements and policies. Of course, your data is going to be scaled in kilometers. Automatically, there is a requirement of the security without any doubt. Next, highly heterogeneous in nature. As I said previously, different type of computers are going to use configurations, networks. Automatically, how to compensate, how to cope up all these variations. Okay, next. So correct heterogeneous multi-level networks, different resources management policies, and finally placed in different geographical locations. Obviously, okay. So these are all the main factors which motivates us to provide that architecture in order to get services from the grid in an open manner. Open manner means any person can able to access, can store, can process at any point of time. Okay, if that is so, we used to get a word called as a OGSA, Open Grid Services Architecture, and these are the factors for our motivation to get the services. Right? We have right. I will continue the next video. In the next video, why means it's become lengthy one. Of course, you will not listen to me. Okay. So take care, dears. We'll meet in next video. Have a nice day. Bye.